Well, welcome to Cheltenham, assistant manager. How long ago did the gaffer get in touch?
I spoke to him at the end of last week, and he asked me if I'd been tested. We've known each other for a long time, and we've been speaking for a long time. And I suppose at some stage of our careers, you never know where you're going to be in football. Look, we wanted to work together, so it's perfect timing for myself in the current situation, and I really look, pleased to join the club and look forward to working, with the group of players and with Paul.
And it's Exeter you know him from originally, is it then?
Yeah, I was a player. He was the assistant manager at Exeter. I went there as a senior player, and we became friendly and kept in touch.
And Matty Taylor you know as well, obviously.
Yeah, I've been in the heat of battle with Matty a lot of times, and he's somebody who you'd want on your side. And as I saw him play on Saturday, he's somebody he's a real leader, leads the team, and a very good player.
What about the rest of the squad? What do you know about them?
Well, being the ex-Tranmere manager, and Cheltenham came to Tranmere and beat us 3-2 up there. I know there's some very talented players, and at the start of the season, very well. Obviously, had a couple of bad games, but I know there's a talented squad and a squad of players that are capable of winning a lot of football matches.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that game, but since you brought it up, I mean, how different does the team and the squad looked in terms of morale from what you've arrived at now, from what you saw back then?
Players are, I was just saying to somebody then, players are the same, across the country, and you want to win on a Saturday, of course you do, and if you're not winning it, you can be frustrated with your work, but you do your best. They look at a group of players who have, there's not a lack of confidence there. There's certainly a lot of talent there. It's just you do get used to winning and you get used to losing. So it's a very small margin winning and losing. Everyone knows that. And this group of players, not so long ago, were winning lots of games.
Big game for you, your first match associated with the club, and I suppose big game for the players. But they'll be fully aware of that, won't they? And be as best prepared as they can be.
Yeah, well, they're working for a manager that I know how the manager works, and he'll prepare them 100% for every game. But like you say, Sunday's game is a huge game for the club and a very, very good opportunity. When you're a player and you're playing a second round of FA Cup, it's an opportunity you can't turn down, because the rewards, if you do well, you don't know where you could be playing in the next round or in 2 or 3 rounds. So the players were prepared today. I was impressed by them today. I was impressed by how the manager prepared them, but it was a determination that this is going to be a tough game on Sunday, but you better be ready. And
since leaving Tranmere, presumably obviously looking to get back into the game, but you've been doing a bit of scouting. What have you been doing?
I live in Bristol. I never moved. My family stayed in Bristol, so I've stayed quite local. I've watched a lot of games. I've been scouting for a friend of mine who's a manager, so I've watched lots of games. I watched Cheltenham play twice. I saw them beat Swindon, ironically, and I thought they were terrific. What a great result that was. So you never know where you're going to be. I didn't think I'd be working for Cheltenham Town that day, so it was strange, but I've watched lots of games. It's great to get back in. It's great. It's been 8 weeks since I lost my job at Tranmere, and you can't wait to get out on the training ground and see people training again.
Rob, can we just talk through some of the highlights of your playing career? Because obviously a lot of games under your belt, caps for Wales.
Yeah.
What would you say was the high point of your playing day?
My high point, funnily enough, was an FA Cup game for Bristol City. We played Liverpool in the 3rd round of the FA Cup and won at Anfield. That was my highlight in the FA Cup. Career-wise, a couple of promotions for Bristol City, a promotion for Preston when I played there, and I had a really good time at Exeter City as a player. I went there when they were in the conference, and we went from, like this club, from the conference to League One, which is a huge achievement for a club like Exeter, and we had some really good times. We finished 8th in League One, and that was at a stage of my career where I was sort of mid-30s, didn't expect to be doing it, but we had some very good players like Matty Taylor, like Jamie Curran, who played here. We had a really good group of players, which it shows if you get a good group of players and the right people, at a club like Exeter or Cheltenham, it shows you can get into League One and be a good side at that level.
Yeah. How early did you start preparing for your life? Was it after playing days? Did you always want to go into coaching and management? Yeah, I went to Exeter as a player, and then I started doing my coaching badges, and I had been a senior player like Stevie Elliott. The influence, I always talk about how influential senior players are at football clubs, and they've got a huge role to play, because I'm afraid when a coach or a manager talks to the players, they listen, but when a senior player talks, they really listen. And Stevie Elliott, something I've just said to him, then the impact you can have on the young players, you can be a real force. So as soon as I realised that as a senior player you can have an influence on young players, and they listen and they want to learn from what you know, I thought that coaching was a route for me. And obviously had a great success at Exeter. Do you think sometimes you learn more from experiences like Tranmere, where you have to go through a bit of a tough time? I think that sometimes can be beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've got no regrets about it. What happened at Tranmere, I had It's a very good football club, and hopefully it'll sort itself out and start get back to where it should. I learnt an awful lot. It was a very difficult job, and it continues to be a difficult job, I think. But it was a great learning curve for me, and when I went in there, I said I didn't have all the answers, and I still haven't got all the answers now. I don't think there's anybody in football that can admit they don't have all the answers. Very experienced coaches go through spells where they're losing lots of games, and the game is about players and turning it round. So I've got a job to do here, and I'm really looking forward to my role here.